Good Friday morning, Mount Olive Church and friends of Mount Olive Church. Andrew Short here with you, filling in for John Mullins. On that note, continue, or if you've not been, please, we ask you to pray for Brother John and his family. They're still feeling sick, so keep them in your prayers. Share my screen here. We're hoping Brother John will be able to come back with you there next week. But gonna talk here for just a little bit on Brother TJ's message on Sunday, last Sunday. Again, if echo the other guys, if you weren't able to be with us, please go check that out. It was awesome. I really needed it. I told him Monday morning there in the hallways, I needed it, and I've continued to need it every day this week. And the devotions have been really good. Everyone has reminded me of that, and that's part of the awesome thing about these devotions. That for me is that it reminds me of the message that God sent on Sunday. It's not just something we leave at church on Sunday at 12 o'clock. It's, something we get to take with us every morning. So I wanted to talk, I think, about the crown part of it, the incorruptible crown that he spoke on Sunday. So that came from, of course, he was in 1 Corinthians 9, and this is 23 through 25. And it says, and again, this is Paul talking. He says, "And this I do for the gospel's sake, that I might be partaker thereof with you. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receives the prize? So run that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown," talking about the people that were in their version of the Olympics, "but we an incorruptible one." And so, without being too long, it really hit me as CJ was talking there on Sunday, talking about corruptible crowns versus incorruptible, and how, he kind of pulled up some of the old J.J. Kelly plaques and teams and stuff there. And he got to talking about some of the players that were on those teams. And I was involved with a lot of those same kids who are no longer kids, which makes me feel old. But my thought was, or I guess the thought that kind of God's given me this week is, not just about us having an incorruptible crown, but the people that we come across. How are we doing with sharing the good news that about that incorruptible crown? It really kind of hit me as he was mentioning those names of those kids, how many times, and maybe this was just for me. I hope you can get something from this, but how many times in my life, in my now 18 years of teaching, have I missed an opportunity to tell a kid or to tell one of my friends that I work with, or, about this opportunity to have an incorruptible crown, to spend forever and forever in heaven with Jesus. And that's the part that kind of hit me. We spend so much time doing layup drills and taking batting practice, and there's just some sports references, insert whatever it is that you do on a daily basis. But we spend so much time with that, but how much time do we spend sharing with these people that we spend every single day with about this opportunity to have an incorruptible crown? And so that was kind of the thought that hit me as I was going back and studying for this a little bit and re-listening to the message on Sunday, was to give the promise to the people. The promise, and we'll get to more about the people in just a second, but the promise of this incorruptible crown, this promise of heaven, this promise of the pearly gates and everything that was going to wipe away all our tears and all this good stuff, right? That promise, these are just some quotes from, I told TJ I was going to, put it in, I guess I should have given him some credit down here at the bottom. But these are things he said on Sunday that really kind of stuck with me. The first one was, he was talking about the crown being imperishable forever and forever and forever. He said, until the ages move on. And man, that was just, I don't know, that hit me. How small our day-to-day little things that aggravate us and things that we fuss about. I know, ouch and amen on that one. But man, how many times do we tell somebody about this imperishable crown that's going to last till the ages move on? I thought that was an awesome way to say that. Then he said, God promises you, he has for you an eternal reward that you can't even imagine. That's awesome to me. The best we can do, the best imagination we can come up with of this incorruptible crown, this incorruptible reward that we get and don't deserve, we get because of Jesus and our accepting of him. But that reward that we can't even imagine, right? The best we can imagine is not even close. And so I guess I say that to say this, that how often am I, Andrew, giving that promise to the people that I'm coming into contact with every day. And I don't just mean unbelievers. Obviously, that's very high priority, is to share the good news of the gospel, the good news of this incorruptible crown we can obtain through Jesus. Nothing I've done, through Jesus. But I guess the secondary point is, how many times do we remind each other, believers, of this incorruptible crown that we've got, right? I'm so good at fussing about whatever is going on, and just on and on and on about something that's so silly. But how often am I reminding my brothers that I work with and that I come into contact with, and how often am I reminding them of, man, we've got it made. I mean, I know there's some struggles that are going on, and we get anxious about things, but man, how often do we remind each other that we've got an incorruptible crown? We have a promise of forever in heaven with Jesus. And so just, I want to remind myself, if nobody else, I want to remind myself that I need to be telling everyone of how awesome that promise is. And so here was just a quick kind of some lyrics to a song that hit me this morning as I was coming to school, Casting Crowns, unintended, Scars in Heaven. It says, if I had only known the last time would be the last time. So think of someone in your life that maybe is an unbeliever, or maybe he's just somebody that's struggling with something, right? Maybe a believer that's struggling. If I'd only known the last time would be the last time, I would have put off all the things I had to do. What perspective we would have if we knew, right? I would have stayed a little longer, held on a little tighter. Now what I'd give for one more day with you, because there's a wound here in my heart where something's missing, and they tell me that it's going to heal with time. But I know you're in a place where all your wounds have been erased. That's good news for those of us that have lost loved ones, maybe even recently. And know yours are healed and healing mine. The only scars in heaven, they won't belong to me and you. There'll be no such thing as broken, incorruptible crown, right? And all the old will be made new. And the thought that makes me smile now, even as the tears fall down, is that the only scars in heaven are on the hands that hold you now. I think that's an awesome song. My guess is most of you have heard that, but it's still a really, really cool song. So hopefully you got something out of that today. Again, share with someone about that incorruptible crown. Believers, unbelievers, share with somebody. We need to hear that. We need to remind each other of how awesome we have it in Christ Jesus. Love you guys. Have a great Friday. Hope to see you on Sunday.